We say, where did the word come from? Whiskey. This is not a Latin word, not a French word, not a German word, it's not an English word today. Whiskey means, it comes from ishke, whiskey. That's where the very word comes from. It's a Celtic word, coming from ishke. Ishke Baha, the water of life. Now, the Ishke Baha was banned in this country in 1661, when Cromwell invaded. And when Cromwell came here again in 1661, he learned nothing from the Romans. The Romans couldn't defeat the Celts in Europe. They couldn't defeat them in Galatia and Spain, Brittany in France, Cornwall in England. And they had to pull out of England eventually. So when Cromwell came here, he learned nothing from the Romans. And when the Irish resisted Cromwell's big army, Cromwell thought, it must be what these bastards are drinking, he said. That's his attitude. He had no... You see, people make mistakes from them. They don't learn from history. So the Irish resisted, because the Irish were Celts. Very hard to subdue them. And you saw films on the Highland Scots as well. They played heavily on the English, like any invasion, and the English then sort of divided them and got sort of traitors, and that's how they beat them in the end. But the Irish then, like, were rebellious as well. They couldn't be ruled. They were a proud race of people as well. And then when they were treated bad, that was worse again. They weren't taking this too lightly either. So the Irish rebelled, and you were saying, well, they're very foolish. They were rebelling against not a strong country, an empire. But yet, the resilience of it is amazing around the world today. So Cromwell then banned the drink. We have some chance of conquering if they aren't drinking this. So the Irish, again, read the history, disobeyed the laws. Now they were making it in the mountain. Then it became known as Mountain Dew, Jugga Punch. Then they went over to America and they started making moonshine. And then it became known here as poitin. Now they were making it in the pots. The small pot, the big pot is there, and the small pot, which was all the time boiling, is known in Irish as the poitin. So now you know the name where poitin comes from. Like ishke, whiskey. Poitin. Banned, declared illegal in 1661. Illegal ever since. Illegal today. And we're still making it here in the mountain. We still have it here today, the ishke Baha. This is it here. It's illegal. Now, when the Irish went to America and Canada and places like that, and England, beginning, the Irish went very poor. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, history can prove the Irish were discriminated against. I suppose a lot of them were going poor. And a lot of the Irish already there were disowning them. They were saying, oh, we're not Irish, we're Scotch-Irish. We're fairly well off. But if you go to America today, there's not as much Scotch-Irish, but all tracing their Irish roots. And you might say, why, like? Why the Irish? Why did they become so popular? Well, it was the rich Celtic culture they brought with them that made them really popular. It was the singing, the dancing, the music. And some of our great ambassadors today, Michael Flatley, his father and mother immigrated from Sligo, and Michael grew up a young lad in Chicago, and of course Irish dancing. And then he speeded up the Irish dancing to river dance. And this renewed the whole thing over again, great worldwide. You go to London today, you see parents taking their family to Irish dancing. You can go to Chicago, you can go to New York, Boston, Australia, Canada. You go to France, the French comes back here learning Irish dancing, they love it, the Germans. We even have the Chinese today dancing to Irish music. So these great ambassadors, Michael Flatley, Bing Crosby, all his grandparents were Irish. Johnny Cash, Irish roots again, and coming back here and singing the 40 Shades of Green. He saw the 40 Shades of Green in Ireland. But then you had Bing Crosby singing, and singing great songs. These were great ambassadors as well. He was back here a lot of times making films and singing songs, and one of the songs was, oh, maybe someday I'll go back to Ireland, if it's only at the closing of my day, and to sit beside a turf fire in a cabin and watch the sun go down on Galway Bay. But there's another verse in that song, and again the Irish were clever enough putting the history into the songs. You preserve history like that. And one of the verses in that song says, the strangers came and tried to teach us their way. They blamed us for being what we are. But sure they might as well go chasing after moonbeams, or light a penny candle from a star. Trying to change a culture is not an easy task. World leaders today could take a good example from the history of Ireland. This was tried in Ireland for 700 years by an empire to impose their way of life and their language. Today, after 700 years, we have exported a lot of this rich culture, and it's loved the world over today. We still have a lot of it. We still have our language, and we're still making Now, anybody that wants a drink of this, you're very welcome to. We have glasses here.